Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. I'm Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change, coming to you from a downright balmy and sunny Gem City. And, of course, right down the road in equally tropical Columbus, Ohio, Duane Long. Duane, how are you this fine Tuesday morning?
I see spring around the corner, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we've complained enough. Days like this in the great state of Ohio are impressive. Now, 70 yesterday, supposed to snow again in a few days. That's Ohio. So be it. Got a lot to talk about today. Some interesting kind of abstract topics. Obviously, we've hit the off-season completely here. We are into a wild time where it should be mostly recruiting and off-season chatter about the squad, which has brought us to a certain topic raised by J-Book on the board the other day. Which position group for the Buckeyes heading into the season is under the most pressure to perform? It was pretty obvious from the thread in which Duane participated that it is linebacker. Not just linebacker the position, but I think linebacker the position coach. Billy Davis is still in a prove-it mode here, especially after last year. Duane and I talked a little bit about this before the show. Duane, as I look at the linebacker depth chart, it does not make much sense to me. I could not tell you. I guess I could say I believe Tuff Borland will start at middle linebacker. And I could make a guess on the other starters, but I don't know if I agree with them. If someone said to you, give me the three starting linebackers, outside, middle, outside, for next year, what would be your answer?
I don't know. That would be my answer. I mean, as you said, it's pretty chaotic what we're looking at. Who belongs where? I mean, what linebacker had a really good year?
None.
It was kind of what's going on here, and here we are heading for spring ball, and I'm still saying, what's going on here? I don't know who's going to be where. As you said, the one thing that is, if I could say one thing that I would say is odds on, is Tuff Borland at middle linebacker. Beyond that, I mean, what do we have? We've got chaos. We've got we got guys that did not perform. That's the one thing that is absolute. We got, you can look at the youth that was out there and give them a break, but we had veteran guys out there that why'd we recruit this guy? So that's going to be just a huge question mark. That and cornerback, we don't have anybody that we can absolutely hang our hat on at cornerback. Those would be the two positions. We lost key guys on the offensive line. When you lose your left tackle and your center, you've lost the core of your offensive line, but we've at least got options there that we can have some kind of faith in. But at linebacker and cornerback, I'm looking at those two positions and saying, hey, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, we'll deal with corner in the days ahead, and I'm not quite as concerned about that. But if you look at linebacker, just listen to some of the names here. I'll give you an example. Keandre Jones, I thought he was going to be our breakout player last year. I don't even remember him playing. Dante Booker. You cannot convince me that Dante Booker should be a starting outside linebacker at Ohio State. He's just too mechanical for me, lacks instincts. I realize, he is literally chiseled from the mold of an outside linebacker, just hasn't produced. Malik Harrison, nothing's jumped out, to me at least. And Justin Hilliard, I don't know what's going on with this dude. He's been here forever. He was the most highly regarded linebacker we've ever had come in here and hasn't done anything. And Baron Browning, this guy needs to be on the field, in my opinion. You're going to look at talent. He's the most talented linebacker we have. So does this reflect poorly on Billy Davis, in your opinion, or has he not been here long enough to have a major effect?
Well, really what I would come back to is that you give a guy 1 year and you're supposed to pass judgment on him. No. But it still brings the question into mind. What happened here? What's different? Luke Fickell's gone and linebackers go to hell in the handbasket. Why? as you said, you've got Booker out there, and it's like he's been here forever too. And how many plays has he made that you remember? These guys they just didn't perform, whether they were coached or I don't know. We're going to find out. We have to learn something. We can't have this again. We've got a near championship level team. We definitely have a championship level talent, and we can't have an entire unit being they disappeared as a unit last year.
It's very rare at Ohio State that you look at players or units and think there's an effort issue. And I thought that was the case with linebackers last year. I can't remember a time when I've really thought I'm going through my mental Rolodex here. I can't remember a time I really thought that. I mean, the Buckeyes usually have above-board effort. Last year, it just seemed like the linebackers, there were games they just didn't show up. I think Chris Worley played hard. He was miscast early in the year. His frame was not ready for middle linebacker. That's another thing. I mean, that's just a bad decision from the coaching staff. I realize their older guys kind of let them down, but it's a two-way street. That's going to be, to me, the most interesting thing going forward as I look at the depth chart. The other questions on the depth chart, like you mentioned, are questions, but there are answers there. You're just kind of choosing between answers. With linebacker, you cannot look at one guy on the team right now and guarantee he's going to be in all-conference contention, and you can't say that about any other position group. So that is definitely the group to watch. I really would like to see Barron Browning emerge and get on the field. There's no point in going into Texas and taking out their best players to have them sit. So we shall see. One guy I want to talk about, speaking of Texas, Noah Cain. Noah Cain is a running back at IMG. He is listed as the number 5 running back in the country. Ironically, number 1 running back in the country. Trey Sanders also at IMG. But Noah Cain out of the Texas area, this is a guy who, Duane, I know has caught your eye so far. The running back position is interesting because if you look at the current depth chart, J.K. Dobbins, Mike Weber, Antonio Williams, the only thing you know about the future is that Dobbins will be back in 19. Weber, unlikely. Williams, you don't know. They're bringing in 2 studs in Master Teague and Brian Snead, so the need for a youth here is not as big, which is likely they're going to focus on 1 or 2 guys. Noah Cain has emerged. Your vibe on why you love Noah Cain so much?
Oh, explosive kid. He's got vision. I think explosive is so very important for a running back, and you see that with him. He's got great feet. He gets in a hole, and you think he's in a phone booth, and all of a sudden he's making somebody miss him. He's got strength. He's not just a speed moves kind of guy. He's not just about shake and bake, making people miss. He's got good balance. He takes on tacklers. He's just really if you look at his film, they're showing him blocking. He catches the ball, and the best part about it is we're in really good shape with him. And I really think we need to get one back in here at least. I wouldn't even think about turning down Trey Sanders if both of them wanted to come. And we do have some interest in Trey Sanders. But get Cain in here, and here's the thing, Dan, he's just so good. There's just that point where you say a player's so good you take him regardless. And that's where I see Noah Cain. He's just, even if we didn't need running backs or had no need whatsoever for running back, you take that guy because he's just that good. He improves your roster just having him.
5'11", 207 pounds, basically a prototype. A Texas native who goes to play at IMG. That's about as good a football pedigree as you can get for a high school kid. Very impressive on film. You're right, we do lead. Ohio State does lead in the crystal ball with 36%, but there are 5 votes in there. Not something to be dissuaded by, or the IMG guys tend to have a bigger list of bigger schools early on, which is fair because they tend to be the biggest studs going. Very interesting stuff. Recruiting is getting hot and heavy here. Obviously, Bill Kurlick and our guys are all over it, so you want to stay tuned as we develop the new names. We're actually going to switch and talk a little basketball now. Rare for us, but Chris Holtmann and the Bulls have done so well this year to this point that they deserve a little shine. They have hit a little hiccup here in the schedule, a couple losses in a row. I'll give you my opinion, Duane, and then pass it along. They look tired to me. KBD looks tired to me. Almost every guy on the team this year is being asked to play a role they've never played before. Most have handled it admirably, especially KBD, but he just looks tired. Still made some great plays in the game, but as a team, to me, they look like they may be running out of gas. Not sure that's a huge concern given the amount of breaks they get with the tournaments, but what have you seen as I wouldn't say it's a shocking run, but they certainly started to take on a little bit of water here recently.
Well, it looks like KDB is just he's kind of hit the wall, as you said. He's had a couple of bad performances in a row, and the fact is he's the Big Ten Player of the Year. He's on the Naismith list. He is. We go by how he goes, and right now he's just for whatever reason he's not on his game anymore. We got to find that again. Maybe try to find a way to rest him. But Dan, we don't have enough bench. It's just not there. There's not enough players. Like Sunday when Weston took his third early in the second half, and I said, well, next dead ball, he's out of there. No, he didn't. He ended up getting his fourth. Why is that? Because we just don't have enough players. He had to leave him on the floor. So, yeah, fatigue could absolutely be playing a part in it. We're at the tail end of the season. So, for whatever reason, we're not getting the performance from KBD that we were, and that is going to determine how many more games we win this year. Just how well he's playing. He's the engine.
And it's been announced that he will participate in senior night. I'm not sure that's shocking news to anybody. This guy has to leave for the league now. Strike while the iron is hot. You do need him to get rested up for the tournaments, though. I kind of got a good feeling that he'll be able to do that, but we shall see. The rest of the guys are going to have to stop up, and I hope Andrew Dacus didn't turn into a pumpkin at Michigan. He's been playing above his head all year, and there were a couple really questionable plays there, but let's just hope that was the going back to Michigan thing. We appreciate Duane stopping by. Got a lot going on the site today. Make sure you keep it locked in there, Bucknutters. Have a good one.